you know what the hate crime flag is?
No, I haven't seen it. Let's have a look.
Yeah, okay, so the hate crime flag is, of course, the new progressive flag of tolerance. You know, the one with the big phalanx
Right, I've
shaping
seen
into
that.
it.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so just to start off, just going to mention that on lotus.com, of course, you can go and check out the Origin of Intersectionality podcast that me and Carl did, which explained the fact that the flag fundamentally does stand for the ideology of intersectionality, and I'll explain why in a minute, but do go and check that out if you're a subscribed member. But let's go to the next link here, because we start off with Propaganda Street, I'm sure you've seen. So this was an area in London that's very touristy, very famous, got lovely shops on it, they're very expensive. And they put up a load of flags, British flags, to celebrate the Jubilee. And this was called Nazism at the time by the modern British left. And so a month later, it's Pride, so we put those up.
And it's stunning and brave.
The stunning and brave flags. And if you go to the next one here, I went down there just to have a look. It's really creepy. Like, it's because this picture doesn't capture it all. Because, of course, it goes on forever. Just walking down the street, these huge symbols of domination. But then every third shop you get to has another flag or a symbol or a sticker that says, you know, pride and love or love is love or whatever.
If only they know the origin.
Yeah, and then you go to the Microsoft store that has like 4 flags outside it. And it really just comes off as like some kind of conquered territory with people putting up signs that are like, please don't hurt me. Like, please don't destroy my store. You know, like BLM.
It's just, for me, that just screams insecurity.
Yeah.
It's insecurity. If you need to find a community or you need to wave a flag, you're insecure.
And if you scroll down on this, John, you can see just some of the extent of this as well, because it's not just the main street as well. There was a side street that still has some British flags, but it's not in the central tourist bit. And I was just wondering, if you were a tourist and you came to the UK,
you're gonna see.
Okay. There were quite a lot of Muslim tourists as well. I really wanted to interview them, but I don't speak Arabic, so I couldn't do that one. But if you keep scrolling, you can see there are some other stuff. So these are like the stores. Just every so often, there's more flags in case you don't know. You tried to look away and forgot your place in the world. And if you go to the last one here, you can see just side streets have this on. This is just a side pub. I happen to be around the corner. And then the last, if you scroll down, just the underground as well. So even if you go into the tunnels to try to escape it, there's more signs being like, "Don't you remember? It's Pride." Like, okay.
Well, this is it. Like Pride. But I'm gonna do a podcast, and my podcast is gonna be on the development of LGBT. Well, LGB was back then, and if they actually knew how it started and where it came about and how they've been exploited and used, the last thing they would be is proud.
I mean, there are some people involved in this that are very funny. But you could always make the argument, previously the original traditional pride flag, just the rainbow, in which you could argue, okay, toleration of homosexuality, let's not be illegal, back in the day when this used to be a thing, and then say, okay, equal treatment, okay, fine, but that's not what any of this is.
No, it's not.
You'll notice the black and brown stripe that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And got added on as if the yellow stands for Chinese. It doesn't, because the brown and black stripe are meant to stand for queer people of color.
Are they really?
Yeah, and AIDS. Which seems a bit racist, but I'm not joking either. We covered it previously. Sesame Street were explaining it because, of course, Sesame Street has to explain this to kids.
Well, the thing is, the 3-year-olds are going to be explaining this to us, aren't they,
Yeah, and they had the black and brown stripe, like, yes, it stands for queer people of colour and those who died of AIDS. I was like, are you allowed to say that? But just, again, separate but equal stripes for brown people.
I can't take this stuff serious, but I've done a lot of research into the background and the history and things like that, and if people actually knew what they were promoting and what they were saying, they wouldn't be doing it.
No.
They really wouldn't be doing it.
I mean, not to mention then you have the transgender aspect, the new chevron part there, and then the circle they've added is apparently intersex. But it could be any minority group, because as intersectionality dictates, what this is about is fundamentally trying to organize the margins of society, which is any minority, and just organising them against the centre. So the majority.
If this is about the minority, why aren't ginger people getting...
One day it'll be on.
I'm ginger. I am the true minority, and I'm still waiting.
I mean,
I'm still waiting. Why don't we have National Don't Pick on a Ginger Day? We don't have that, do we? So
they don't have souls. No, but it's every single year you see something else getting added on. Eventually, I think there will be a ginger stripe somewhere, which is a little pixel.
Maybe we can get in some talks, and if that comes along. But until then, I'm out.
Nah. But if you go to the next one here, you can see that there was some rebellion I saw. So there were some stickers all along the side streets around, and some people obviously attack them and try and scratch them off. But they're all there. So some locals very upset about all of those being put up, wondering who they were. Couldn't get to interview them obviously because they're just stickers. But I have my theories, which is that it may be some people we'll get to in a minute. If you go to the next one here, you can see Andrew Doyle posting that this is Wimbledon, apparently. More stripes. Which, again, I mean, if you genuinely wanted to make the kind of comparisons to Nazi Germany, I mean, this would be easier. Because if you're putting up British flags, okay, well, you're putting up the flag of the kingdom.
Yeah.
We live here, makes sense. Putting up ideological flags as huge stands along the road, the party flag, so that everyone must conform and remind themselves of their place in the world. I mean, that certainly does come more across as the kind of totalitarian symbols that it is. And anyone who thinks the opposite, I don't think is looking at it properly. If you go to the next one here, this is who I presume is putting up the stickers, such as Gays Against Groomers. Don't know if you're familiar with this account that came out of nowhere, which
No.
I'm interested in. Because we used to joke, Douglas Murray's book, The Madness of Crowds, because you know Douglas Murray is a gay man as well.
Yeah.
But he's a gay man. He's not a queer man.
No, I know. I don't think they know what queer means, to be honest.
But he makes the distinction in his book in which he says, there are gay men like me and, you know my boyfriend, and we do whatever. And then there are queers. Just Douglas goes on this big rant. It's like the people who make it their whole entire personality. I can't stand them.
Well, no. What people don't realise is the queer is there for a reason. So what they've done is they've queered gender, which they've done now lovely. Now they've queered gender. We got people with breasts and penises. And the next step is to actually queer the sexuality. So that's what the Q stands for. And the research for queering the sexuality has already been done. You know, in Kinsey's book, Sexual Behaviour of the Human Male, Chapter 5, Table 34. So what we are actually seeing here are the end stages of a massive, a long-term agenda, which started back in the 50s, you know. So where we see people getting the knickers in the twist about this kind of stuff, me and my team, we're actually cringing because we know how close we are to the end, and we just got idiots trying to push it through faster, you know.
I'm expecting a P to be added to the alphabet at some point.
Well, it's MAP, isn't there? They changed the terminology, and I've got recordings of myself in lectures speaking about this and speaking about the academics bringing this in, and I did not think it would be this soon.
But we used to joke on the podcast that, Gays Against Queers would become an organisation.
And it's happening.
Because of Douglas Murray's perception on it. I was like, yeah, guys, come on, set up yeah, it's happened now. Which is have Gays Against Groomers. So we're just like, yeah, do you remember schools then versus schools now? With whatever the hell is going on there. But if we go to the next one as well, I did see some of their posts have made me laugh. I thought it might make you laugh. So you can see here, this is them posting, gay man demolishes straight with facts and logic. Because this straight guy is at the parade being like, what's the problem? Just, wave the flags. There's no problem with any of this. Why are you being upset? Why are you full of hate? And the gay guys are like, no, you guys are lunatics. We want nothing to do with you. Get lost. You with your weird ass flags and your desires for the future. But if you go to the next one here, this is where it becomes a hate crime.
Yeah.
You seen this before?
I've seen this.
Because it turns out, for those who don't know, if you take the new flag and add a few, turn them on their side, you get a swastika, which is very funny for everyone, of course, and Lawrence Fox decided to make it his new profile picture, which was incredibly funny, because he's a funny guy.
I'm surprised he didn't get banned for that.
Oh, he did.
Did he?
If you go to the next one, you can see he got locked out of his account. And it's like, well, there you go. You can openly call the flag of the kingdom a symbol of fascism and for totalitarianism on Twitter, but you cannot criticize the holy pride flags. And of course, there's the funny aspect, because the flag of the kingdom, the United Kingdom there, is obviously, if you try and call that Nazi, that doesn't make any sense, because we were standing alone against the Nazis at one point in Europe. So, I mean, no one is insulted by that. We just laugh at it. It's, okay, whatever.
Have you seen the Welsh flag with the pride in the back?
I have seen some of that.
It looks ridiculous,
the
doesn't
dragon.
it? That's the worst out of them all.
It's no aesthetics whatsoever, is it? But with the racial pride flag, as you can see there, because of course it is identitarian, it's the identitarian left. So yeah, funnily enough, they do take it personally and rather, insulted when they actually get pointed out that, did you know the Nazis were also massive identitarians like you?
Yeah.
And they can't have that. So that's why they locked Lawrence Fox there. If you go to the next one though, we can see a lot of the intersectionalists were very mad because we've seen this for a while, that meme's been shared a lot, but it's not really got into the London mainstream, I don't think.
No, it hasn't.
And Lawrence is a great way of, getting it in front of those people and realizing how crazy they look to the rest of the country. So you see India here. This is a transgender newsreader, I'm told, that she decided to go with the tweets tonight from Lawrence Fox are truly disgusting. 48 hours after the killings in Oslo Gay Bar in Pride Month too. Weird way of phrasing it. In some countries, he'd go for jail for displaying a swastika. I hope Twitter issue a permanent ban and the Met Police prosecute him. Because remember, it's crime.
But he's not displaying a swastika. He's just pointing out what their flag makes when it's put together. He's not displaying that sticker.
He's just celebrating pride. What's wrong with that? If that's offensive, oh no.
Everything's offensive.
But there's also just one thing to mention, because Andy notes on it here, which is that she's like, oh, did you know that 48 hours ago some people were killed in Oslo? Yeah, who by? What happened? They trip and fell. No, they were killed by a man. Just a man.
Wasn't that
Where's he from? I don't know. Just a man. Suppose we'll leave it there. What kind of men would be engaged in killing people at gay clubs? Don't know.
Exactly.
Anyway, she doesn't know. Nobody else knows. Who knows? We'll move on to the next one here, because we then have the fact that she's the very individual. He was the one who was very upset that the British flags were putting up for the British holiday of the Queen's Jubilee, because that's very improper apparently. As you can see, that person there saying that this is Nazi Germany. It's like, India, pot, kettle black.
Do you know, I was wondering, after the Jubilee, I was wondering, because there was all these Union Jacks about, and I was wondering how long it would take somebody to come up with the whole Nazi thing, and it was on Twitter all along.
Oh, it was a day. It took a day, 9 hours. There you have it. But if you go to the next one here, the London authorities are actually very mad with Lawrence. It's serious. So this is a London Assembly member saying, as a member of the London Assembly and member of the Police and Crime Committee, I hope the Met Police will look into Lawrence Fox using pride flags to create a Nazi imagery and posting the images on a public platform. This is a hate crime. The thing is, she's right. It's no joke. This genuinely is a crime in the UK because thanks...
The swastika is.
Not thanks to because we have, anti-swastika laws, but we have laws against gross offence. Well, how does that mean? Well, whatever you want it to mean, mate. So, in this instance, it's whatever the police of vice and virtue find offensive. And, well, in this case, indeed, an individual from the committee is upset that they find this offensive. In which case, Lawrence Fox has actually broken the law. And I think, go for it.
But has he, though? But has he? That flag, at the end of the day, he did not create that.
He can argue that, but that won't matter.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you're aware, do you remember the Nazi pug story?
Yeah, but I'd argue his story anyway, because at the end of the day, they shouldn't have done it in that pattern anyway. If they hadn't have done that pattern, Lawrence couldn't have done that. You know, so he hasn't cut up the other flag and made it into that shape, so it's their fault for incorporating that shape.
But I don't think they'll actually go after him because they'll know that they'll lose,
Yeah.
and it'll look really bad for them. And will make everyone question that law because that's a very powerful tool for them to keep down dissent. And frankly, that's why I'm really hoping. Go for it. I really dare them to try and take Lawrence Fox to court over this. I wonder what will happen. You'll lose badly. But if you go to the next one here, you can see Lawrence responding to this, just being like, well, this is the UK, not China. Good to know you would like to see your political opponents prosecuted for hate, locked up, and probably worse. So thanks for proving my point for me. Yeah. You guys, you have no problems becoming the Nazis, just for your own movement instead.
Yeah,
just from a different angle.
I quite like Lawrence, to be honest with you. He's good on this subject.
He doesn't mince words whatsoever.
No.
He's happy to do it. And unfortunately, I don't think we will get them taken him to court because this individual from the Green Party seems to be retarded. Because if you go to the next one here, she decided to respond because people were like, well, how is this a crime? And her response was, he created Nazi symbols out of the LGBT flags. Jewish people will see this as a religious hate crime, and hate is being directed at LGBT people. That's not...
Can't be directed at both, can it?
No, nor is that a law, you idiot. Section 127, Communication Act 2003. There you are. That's a law. You could...
You guys got it up.
If you actually knew anything about crime... it's good to know that people on the crime commissions don't know anything about crime. But if you wanted a crime you could commit, you point to the friggin' law, not just something you made up in your head. And just say, didn't you know this is illegal because it's hate? No.
She could have at least put a link with her.
Yeah, you would have thought she was like, no, it's hate. Okay. Just idiot there. But we'll move to the next one here because some people did decide to start doing this for the British flag. You can see Martin Daubney here. So if you scroll down, he turned the British flag into a Nazi flag as well. That post wasn't taken down.
Wasn't there? No.
No. You can blaspheme against Britain. You can blaspheme against the kingdom's flag all you want. That's not a crime. That's not a permanent deletion from Twitter. But do it with the holy pride flag, which shall not be mocked. Like it's Muhammad or something. you can't upset the community, to put it lightly. But obviously the point being, and the reason for that discrepancy, if you mock the British flag and call it Nazi image, no one will believe that because we fought against the Nazis.
Yeah. They're trying to make out that it is, though. They're trying to give it a new identity, aren't they?
But there's no ideological similarities between the Nazis and the British Kingdom.
Well,
like,
exactly.
That's obviously mad.
You have to really look at that to make out the symbol, whereas with the pride flag, it fits perfect. What a coincidence.
Yeah, and also it's the ideological similarities between the two.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that they're leftist identitarians rather than, German identitarians, but it's the same case. That's why they're so upset, because it is really just a mirror.
Yeah, of course it is.
Realising what they're up to. But there's also, if we go to this individual goes on saying that gay men have been suffering untold murder from the Nazis, and it's just like, okay, sure, like, that happened, but also it's still happening, idiot. He says in here, gay men experienced untold suffering under the Nazis, including murder, castration, and medical experimentation.
So did everyone else.
Yeah, but also just,
So did the entire German population.
There's no medical experimentation going on still in the name of progressivism, is there? There's no chemical castration of kids.
Not at all, not at all. Only from age 3.
Nothing like that goes on in the West because of you people.
And it certainly doesn't go on in the left.
No. This individual here also at the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust decided to chime in because, I don't know, they just don't like Lawrence Fox. Because obviously they can tell this is nonsense to moan about. They're saying that, how dare this happen? Saying, oh, don't you know they hadn't went under medical experimentation? Yep, still happening. Don't worry about it. Carrying on a tradition of leftist thought. If you go to the next one here, though, this is where Police Scotland didn't get the memo, though, that maybe they should tone down the fascism for, I don't know, a week, and decided to tweet this out. Pride boots here with laced up, as you can see, transgender flags in the laces. So whilst the police stomp on your neck and beat the crap out of you, they're wearing pride boots as they do it. And I think, I mean, if you read 1984, I mean, presumably the police haven't. Because
no, definitely not. They haven't read it.
Because there's the quote in there from Winston with him saying, if you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. I'm like, well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Here is the ideological boot that will stamp on your face. Fantastic. But until then, I suppose for the foreseeable future, we can just enjoy our intersectional overlords. We go to the last image here. We'll just end on this one, being that, that's our future, frankly, which is the flag of the kingdom, and anything to do with, our actual country can go to hell and wallow and be, not taken care of. Whereas the pristine, multicoloured rainbow flags of diversity and inclusion, which will only get larger, can continue to fly.
It's not, at least when it was in its original form, it was quite attractive. Like that now, it's not a very attractive flag, is it? I can't even see kids falling for that now. They've spoilt it. They've ruined it for themselves.
Unbelievable. But otherwise, we shall end that there.
Thank you for watching that segment from the podcast Lotus Eaters. If you enjoyed that, you can sign up and become a member on our website to access our premium content. For instance, the most recent contemplations from Josh and John talking about the wisdom of Wabi Sabi. If you're interested in following Josh on social media, you can find him on Getter at Josh_firm. Thank you and goodbye.